Right, it now gives me great pleasure to introduce my colleague, Amanda Solloway. Amanda is the MP for Derby North, but far more importantly, she has the best job, in my view, in government, which is she is the Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Science, Research and Innovation in the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. She was elected back in December 2019. And was appointed, I think, back in February. And Amanda, we are very much looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Stephen, for those words. It really is great to be with you all. There are hundreds of us gathered online today, representing scientists of all sorts, politicians of all persuasions, and members of the public from all over the place. So welcome to you all, and my congratulations to the Royal Society of Biology for pulling this off. It really is a remarkable achievement. Standing here today, it feels like an age since some of us last met, but in fact, it was only back in March that many of us saw each other at the Science Museum for the RSB's 10th anniversary gala dinner. And it was a wonderful night, generously hosted by yourselves, and I had the ultimate joy of meeting many of you, and of course, the incredible, the amazing Sir David Attenborough. And I think he is a really useful figure for today's discussion. Of course, as I'm sure he'd point out himself, he's a broadcaster rather than a scientist, but he's a real authority on natural history. And for many of us, he is our first teacher and inspirer in that amazing discipline. His fame and his position is the heart of the nation, is rooted in science. And it's just a couple of years ago, a poll discovered that he was the most trusted individual in Britain. And oh my goodness, I think I know why exactly that is the case. I think it's because he gives us information with scientific clarity, the facts and their meaning, and what we can learn from them. The stories he tells are engaging and factual, objective and emotional, enabling us to really understand the wonder that sits behind all he says. He's trusted because we don't feel he has any motive other than helping us understand our world. It may be said that people don't feel the same about politicians quite so often. But in terms of public trust, scientists are right up there with judges, teachers and doctors, just behind nurses, quite rightly at the very top. In this country, we trust people who we feel are honest, like Sir David. And while I and all of you represent your constituents here today, got into this work to help people, we need to work harder on gaining people's trust. But I find it really encouraging to see the trust that people put in science and scientists. And I think that trust will have grown even stronger in the last few months while we've been battling COVID-19. Having Sir Patrick, Chris Whitty and others playing such a big role in the daily briefings has been really important. It shows the millions watching that we trust our scientists, and it's given them a chance to be like Sir David, to tell the public the facts and what they mean. It makes science a central part of the discussion, and it reminds people, if they need reminding, that science is a force for good, and that those who pursue scientific careers do so to do good. It's possibly a message that doesn't necessarily resound around the world, but here in the UK, I think it really hits home. And a few days from now, we'll see the results of the latest public attitudes to science research, which I'm confident will back me up. Of course there are problems. Representation is one of the things that really matters to me. We need our politicians and scientists to really represent the country that we serve, rather than a small sample of the UK. So it's encouraging that the British Science Association has found that more young people from all backgrounds are curious about science and careers in science as a result of its key role during this crisis. We also need to address the concerns that the public have around some scientific developments, not least of all the impacts of AI and robotics, which will be a cornerstone of our economy in the future. However, I think it's fair to say that when people hear from scientists, they want to hear more. So I hope the scientists here today will take that to heart and engage even more with the public. I really think you'll find people are listening and are captivated by what you're saying. Increased public engagement can only be a good thing and can only emphasise a principle I truly believe in, that science is for everybody. Thank you.
Amanda, thank you very much indeed for those powerful and inspiring words. I remember only too well being at the event at the Science Museum back in March, early March, before all the lockdown, and it seems like a lifetime ago. But what you've said about Sir David Attenborough is absolutely correct. He's an absolute national treasure and bridges that gap between the science community and the wider public. Has a massive, huge role to play, and the more we can do that, the better. So thank you very much indeed for joining us, for sharing your thoughts and your time.